Are you serious right now, Jamie? You will never get a good podcast. You suck at podcasting. Professional help is needed. I've always said that Meghan Markle's brain should be studied by medical science. And so we are gathered here today, ladies and gentlemen, at the Leilani of Barbados Medical School to do a clinical trial on what makes Meghan Markle this diabolical. I have listened to the almost 2.5 hours of podcasts between Jamie Kern Lima's YouTube video podcast and then also Meghan Markle's Lemonada. I was happy to hear that Meghan apologizes to the royal family, talks about the bullying allegations in the UK and in the US, the dictator in heels, or should we say the SpongeBob in heels. I don't know why she looks like this. Why did she look like this? I was glad to know that Meghan addresses Sophie Chanduka at Santa Bali and that Meghan finally addresses the surrogacy rumors. And in this dynamic interview for the first time, Meghan addresses the speculation about a divorce book. And she generously admits that her brand is toxic and there are no real products on As Ever. There are no projects and no real charities. And finally, in this interview, she relinquishes her HRH titles / Duchess titles. No, she doesn't? She doesn't? Throw the whole book at it. What's going on? Why are we here? If she's not going to do any of that, why is she giving interviews? I'm afraid I was mistaken. We are actually gathered here to analyze what level of insanity is required. I'm afraid I was mistaken. We are actually here to discuss what level of insanity is required to produce invisible tears and if those tears can be bottled for future research.
And if you can't see it, I don't need to prove to you why that's your loss.
We also had a look at the weirdo whispering that Meghan does.
And I remember when I started auditioning, I was like, I just want to be in a Visit California commercial. I just want to be there talking about how great this state is.
Why does she do it? I'm not entirely sure which is worse between Meghan's whispering voice and Jamie's baby voice. It's almost cartoonish the way that that Jamie talks. And it doesn't really match her. Do you know what I mean? Like, she could be 3 babies, 4 babies, 5 babies. I don't know. But the voice does not match her stature. I just want to say that. Can I say that?
Are you in love now more than ever? More than you've ever been?
And it turns out that it isn't her actual voice, because back in the QVC days, you see Jamie had a big career in doing makeup, and she had this company called It, which she sold to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion. Nobody cares. The whole point is that she would not be here with Meghan if Meghan had not married Prince Harry, because she wouldn't be neighbors with Meghan, which she apparently is, if Meghan had not married Prince Harry and got into that neighborhood. But what was I saying? Yes, let's look back on her QVC days and see how she actually talks.
And we waited 3 years to launch a foundation, and the reason why I wanted to make sure it was right.
But after all of that, after listening to all of this back and forth between them, I realized that I don't even want to review it. I might have brain rot. Brain rot is a slang term that describes the perceived deterioration of mental functioning due to overconsumption of trivial or low-quality, often online content. It's a humorous way to express the effects of spending excessive time on mind-numbing activities, especially online. Confirmed by the Medical School of Leilani of Barbados, Jamie's podcast produces brain rot. So what we're going to do instead is focus on the medical science. Disclaimer, this is not actually medical science and this is not a medical school. But we have eyes and we can see this entire podcast, besides the awful voices, is all about the cringe, the made up stories. Meghan is given a platform once again to lie, the ego inflation on both women's parts. And if the skin crawling stories were not enough, the facial expressions. What's up with that? I mean, Meghan has told so many lies that we at the Research Institute of Leilani of Barbados Medical School and so on and so forth can now recognize the self-soothing gestures she makes whenever she's lying.
Busy, but I do think it's really interesting when people have no sense of what goes into the thing.
The heavy breathing. I did see in comments on my last reviews of her show that she does all these and she does all these sounds, and people were asking me like, what do you think those sounds are? Well spotted. Those are sounds that are like verbal fillers or delays, according to our research, that tell us that she is making up stories in her head. She's getting a chance to lie, even as a beauty queen. Even as a beauty queen, as Miss Barbados, I have to plug that sometimes before I became a medical professor. But, even as a beauty queen, you're taught to say, repeat the question. You're asked a question, you repeat it, and it gives you a chance to think. Meghan has taught herself how to just touch places and do these things in order to buy her some time to make up the lies and the stories, or to remember a script that she has previously written about herself. But the podcast itself is, to me, not really worth my criticism, because it's full of showing off, and in fact, it's full of rage bait. I can only imagine that these two are just trolling us at this point. They cannot be so detached from reality that they are talking about each other in this manner. I almost think that these two are trolling if they want us to believe that they should be doing podcasts. But I did hear that some companies are considering increasing the price of podcast mics because they don't think that people should have podcasts. Some people should not have podcasts. I mean, Jamie's channel is sitting at 74K subscribers, and I'm not subscriber shaming, of course, because obviously not. I'm a small channel as well. But when you think that Jamie has done 1,000 QVC videos,
I have not done a show in no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
written books, sold an incredibly popular makeup line, been here, there, and everywhere. She said she was a newscaster at one point. I mean, she's even been on Baywatch many full moons ago.
So Barbara, I was once in an episode of Baywatch. We had to wear a red swimsuit, and then we ran in slow motion.
Let me
Ready?
run with you.
And these will stretch with us as we run in slow motion.
I'm feeling good about this.
You're born to be a Baywatch lifeguard.
I want it.
Having 74K subscribers is a very low number for her. And even the views when this podcast came out, even though she was interviewing Meghan Markle, never been seen without makeup, never been seen on a podcast interview, the numbers were extremely low. It did not go viral, as she probably expected. That's why you have to understand that this is not a real friendship. This is transactional. Jamie and Meghan both want to save their careers online. They both are trying to make it as influencers, even after they have so much money. They're still trying to get that likability from the audience. And that makes you wonder why. Why wouldn't you get the likability first? Why are you trying to force it on us? But I digress. There was something that rubbed me the wrong way, and I took the bait, and I just want to rant about it for a bit. Meghan, Miss the Markle, said she's a hard worker.
My gosh, I work so hard, and I appreciate what hard work looks like.
Well, those are two different things. Being a hard worker and knowing what people look like when they work hard, those are two different things. So that was almost like a slip that she did. And she goes into this whole diatribe, which sounds insane.
Right? The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done.
Yeah.
It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line and what's the cadence.
So in case most of you tuned out when she started talking she's simply talking about what most social media influencers do on a daily basis in posting content. The only difference is, and what Meghan has not mentioned, is that they leave their comments open. And they leave their comments open so that they can receive the criticism. They can even hear what people want to see more of them. It's positive things and negative things that they leave the comments open to see. But not only that, but because they are influencers making money through social media, the ad companies want to know how the audience is receiving them. You cannot get ad deals if you don't leave your comment section open, girl, because that's exactly what they ask to see. They ask to see your analytics, how people feel about you. Meghan can't show that. So when she's talking about all this work she does, it's for naught, because you're not even doing it as a business. You're a founder, aren't you? You're a businesswoman, aren't you? Then why are you cutting out the main source of income on social media, which is ad revenue? But we all know that hard work talk is just a clapback at all the financial documents that came out and then all the articles that followed revealing that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle work just 1 hour a week at Archwell Foundation. I know she goes into at some point of the interview about how she's promoting all these businesses by wearing their stuff, because when she wears, I'm diverting a bit, but when she wears a certain type of jeans, it stops human trafficking. And she's done this for small businesses the whole time, because you see, when she was in the royal family, she says she had no voice. She was a caged bird that couldn't sing. And so she did these other ways of showing the public that she was showing up. By the way, she's investing in those companies. So when she promotes their brands and their jeans and whatnot, she's getting money from that. She did not promote anybody without investing in it. I guarantee you. Prove me wrong, though. Anywho,
I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
She goes on to say that she's such a hard worker. And sorry, this is the part that I got really upset about. Because although I'm dressed like a doctor today, I am a YouTuber. And I do everything myself. All of the editing, the lighting, and it's not, I'm not saying it's great, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying whatever it is, I do it myself. So when she sits down and talks about how she edits, I immediately felt like she was attacking me. I was offended. I'm not gonna lie.
While also editing all the time-coded notes for season 2 of With Love, Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Yeah.
Those are all jobs. I mean, I love being that busy, but I do think it's really interesting when people have no sense of what goes into the thing.
I'm an amateur, but I put hours of work into videos. I even have to take breaks sometimes because Meghan has this other, we're going to diagnose it, but she makes your eyes cross if you look at her too long and listen to what she's saying. So I have to take breaks in order to uncross my eyes. But anyway, when this girl sits down and talks about that she's editing Netflix produced content. This is Netflix that has 80 people in the kitchen she's using to help her cook a one-pot meal. If it requires 80 Oompa Loompas in a kitchen to help Meghan cook a one-pot meal and let her sprinkle flowers on the end of it, at the end of it, do you believe that she's sitting up in a sound room, an editing lab, editing videos? Because I don't believe that. But the problem is that she has this way of doing stolen valor that must turn off every single person around her. Yeah, because if you do it, I do it too. Nobody would want to ever be friends with her if she's constantly pretending to do what they do and do it better. Who could stand that? Who could stand their blood, sweat, and tears going into something and some random psycho just comes and be like, oh yeah, I do that too. I do it really well. So what editing software do you use? And how do you do your clips? And how do you put your overlays? And do you do B-roll? And when you do B-roll, how do you put the sound in? And when you want to pretend that you're talking to people that you're not really talking to, how do you edit that audio in? And what's your favorite software for that? And how do you isolate the sound? That's what I would ask Meghan in her own way of talking, in her own cadence. And by the way, she does double down on the 80 people in her kitchen in this interview. She also continues to say how creative she is and how she didn't realize she was creative until everyone told her she was.
I have a really classic aesthetic in terms of how I see things. I've never, ever considered myself artistic. So it's really odd to voice that now as all of this is people are like copying my handwriting or how I put a plate together or how I put an outfit together.
So that's her way of saying that she's classy. Classic way of doing things. She's classy. She's saying she's classy, which she's not. Another thing she's doing is saying that she's creative. That's a space she should never enter. She was in the royal family. So she was able to be the vice president of the Commonwealth Trust. She did nothing. She could not create any ideas to come up with for that. Even when she moved back to the States, she couldn't come up with any ideas to help the BLM movement that supported her when she claimed false racism. Well, the racism was false. So when she did all that, no ideas, no helping the Black people, besides the fact that she wanted them to rally for her and fight for her. And I honestly think she has cultivated the craziest of the crazy to fight for her. Well, what has she done for them? Nothing. So where's the creativity there? I mean, can you imagine how an artist would feel like hearing that Meghan is saying that she's a creative too, because she knows how to put an outfit together? And not well. But I mean, people do that. People do that very well. But Meghan does not put an outfit together well. So that's even wilder. Even when she says that she doesn't understand how people are thinking she's so creative because she doesn't paint. She never says, I cannot paint, girl. I don't have any fine arts talent. Also, remember this upside down Ukraine flag that she painted? Just saying. She will say instead, I don't do it. Not because she can't, you see, because she chooses not to.
I've never thought of it. Like, I don't paint.
And just the pretentiousness of the whole thing, like she still wants to be a princess and use the HRH titles.
The end of Super Mario Brothers, when you get to the final level, and what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
Here's a gift basket she brought Jamie. The card says, with the compliments of HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. Let's refer back to the statement from Buckingham Palace. The Sussexes will not use their HRH titles as they are no longer working members of the royal family. Only my friends can refer to me as that. None of her friends are genuine. None of them have been in her life very long. I have the mini violin here because at this point I have checked out. I say we must throw the whole biohazardous waste away in the biohazardous bin. Oh, but harvest the tears first. We still need to harvest those fake tears because what even is that? We need to find out. This person reckons, of course, if you touch the inside of your eyes, you will have a burning sensation, which will cause crystal clear eyes. Who knows? In conclusion, I would like to say that we at the University of Medical School Barbados, Leilani, and all of that research institute, we have diagnosed Meghan with infuriation-itis. Mass infuriation-itis, actually. We have upgraded it to. All she does is infuriate the public. That's her superpower. Let's quickly just read some comments. Aw, poor victim Rachel. We will never forget how you treated the late Queen and Prince Philip on their dying days. She is like a record that is constantly on loop. Same thing all the time. How many times does this woman need to tell this? She has oppositional defiance disorder, among other things. Thank you for that diagnosis. So that is what she's doing when she's using the HRH title when she was told not to. There are also loads of comments under Jamie's video with Meghan. I came here to read the comments and I'm not disappointed. The conversation between these two would kill a flourishing houseplant. Nauseating. Oh Lord, let me hide my plant. My plant's not doing well as it is. Girl! Lots of happy anniversaries to the Prince and Princess of Wales. I'd like to also say happy anniversary to them. It is belated, but you know. Now back to more comments. As the saying goes, the more you say, the more you are not. This is why it's hard to believe her claims. If you are really happy, busy, thriving, then you wouldn't have to bring it up every chance you get. But a lot of just sarcastic comments about how inauthentic they are and how this is just absolute hogwash to watch. So it's very telling that not only are they both unlikable, but their friendship to watch it is unlikable, if there even is one. But one more thing, just one more thing I have to share with you as a medical researcher is that Jamie says,
So I know you look at all the data, it is impossible to have a true friendship or a true relationship with anybody, a true connection if you don't show up fully authentically.
Yes.
what is this data? Where can we find it? Is it on WebMD? Is it on psychos.com? Like, where can we find this data that she's like, when people just say, there's a lot of data to show that me and Meghan are great. Like, what do you mean? What do you talk? Authentic? Show up? Is Jamie giving us irony poisoning? Irony poisoning is when one's worldview, reality tunnel, is so dominated by irony and detachment-based comedy that the joke becomes real and you start to do things that are immoral or wrong from a place of deep nihilistic cynicism. Are you serious right now, Jamie? You will never get a good podcast. You suck at podcasting. She's put so much into this and she can't get views. Thank you all, speaking of views, for viewing this. And I'll see you at graduation because I think all of you understand what's happened here and you deserve a certificate, at least, in Meghan Markle's diagnosis. We're going to call it mass infuriation-itis. I think all of you deserve a degree in discovering mass infuriation-itis. I love you all so much and I appreciate so much you coming here. And like the video for the algorithm, don't forget, and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with all of my creative endeavors. I love you so much. Bye.